The Edge at 11 starts now.
Tonight on The Edge, hope for the holidays. A Canton woman thought she lost her emotional support animal for good after getting into a car accident on I-94.
Yeah, Pina disappeared after the crash, but the workers who towed her car were determined to find this missing python. Yeah, I said python. Fox News' Jessica Dupnack joins us live with more on this story. It's almost hard to believe, Jessica, this really took a village to find this snake.
Yeah, I learned a lot about ball pythons today, even got to hold one too. It was relatively comforting. It's interesting, this woman uses this python as an emotional support animal, so she was very, very connected to it, got in this awful crash. And what I did learn is ball pythons, they're really good at hiding. It hid among the wreckage, and ironically, the girl that found it, that works for this small town tow company, she is very afraid of snakes.
She knows I'm her mom, or at least I like to think she knows I'm her mom.
This is Pina, an emotional support ball python.
I cuddle with her sometimes.
Like in bed, like you would have done?
Yeah. Most people get anxiety around snakes. Jessica Welch says it actually helps hers.
The weight of it sort of reminded me of like almost like a hug.
With Pina riding shotgun, Jessica was coming home from college last week in these horrible snowy conditions on I-94 near Chelsea. A multi-car crash. She smashed into a truck, and this is what her SUV looked like.
I looked back in my car, saw her tank was just like shattered. She obviously wasn't in it.
Frantic, she looked. First responders looked. No python. It was time for a tow. On the other end of this story, another college student home on holiday break working at her family's tow company.
I don't like snakes.
Not a snake girl, clearly, but still with a big heart. Carly Kearns made it a mission to find the reptile, asking Dad for permission to pull the wrecked SUV into the heated garage to find Pina, and she did.
I found a snake!
And that's when I saw its scales under the seat and took off running to find Will because I didn't want to touch it.
Will Shaw to the rescue.
Do you have any experience with snakes?
As a kid, playing with, the garter snakes. That's about it, though.
Not a python?
No, I wasn't expecting a python.
He had to wriggle wreckage, cut wires, and wrangle the snake. Did it move at all?
There was no movement. It had no signs of life at that point, but it wasn't frozen.
The duo turned into reptile paramedics.
We set a heater up and set the heater pointing on the snake, trying to warm it up.
But Pina wasn't moving. They told Jessica the next day she was gone. Oh, kind of. Jessica came to pick her up fully ready for cremation.
I started poking around like inside her mouth to see if that would get like a reaction out of her. And that's when she sort of like drew her head back a little bit.
She's a tough girl. A rush to the vet where they gave her a little snake IV, snake antibiotics. She's still cold, recovering at home.
I truly don't think she would be here if it wasn't for them. So it means everything that they did what they did.
Yeah, that story really has it all. As for Pina, you can see there, she is doing okay. I'm told she's not quite herself, but the recovery looks good. And as for the folks at Manchester Towing, they said this is definitely, hands down, the weirdest call they've been on. Reporting live, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
A lot of questions, especially including like, what does a snake look? How do you look well as a snake? Look, I want to ask you this because I think you've covered a story also with a dog who ran from a crash scene, if I'm not mistaken, right? So if you have an animal and you're traveling with an animal and you lose them in some sort of wreck, what do you need to do to try to, find that animal and be reunited again?
Yeah, it's such a tough situation. I mean, in this case, you had some pretty dedicated first responders that tried, but ultimately that tow company, you got to give a shout out to the tow drivers out there. They deal with a lot of stuff, a lot of terrible things, and it really was due to that dedication that they were able to find this snake and bring her home just in time for the holidays, of course.
There you go. It's a Christmas miracle. Jessica, we appreciate it.
I'm still stuck on the emotional support of a snake, and if I was on an airplane with it sitting next to her, I don't think I'd feel very emotionally supported.
Different strokes for different folks, right?
Well, at this time tomorrow, It might look a little different outside.
I don't like saying that because that means we're going to have to drive outside in this
It'll
snow.
be beautiful,
right?
Brandon.
Oh, yeah,
just as long as it goes away in January.
As long as I get home, yeah. Another system that's moving into the area, it'll likely bring some snow. Captain Rich Luderman, you got our forecast. You're going to let us know exactly what time. Are we saying like maybe midnight? 05?
Exactly. Late tomorrow evening. Here's our storm. There it is up in the Dakotas. So it's still about 24 hours away from us. We did have a few wet flakes around today and some sprinkles. Right now, just a few leftover flurries. There has been some snow in Gaylord this evening. It looks very wintry there. Look at that, 20 degrees right now. For us, 37 the high, 33 the low. Not a lot of variation with the high and the low today. We're still stuck in the lower 30s for a lot of us. There's a breeze out there from the north and west. Certainly some cold air up to our north. 16 Marquette. Look at Thunder Bay, Ontario. 1 degree, 19 in Minneapolis. So we're going to see a piece of that cold air for the weekend ahead. Here comes our next weather system. Tomorrow itself is a dry day, but then late Thursday evening, this low pressure will cross the southern Great Lakes and bring that swath of snow. You're going to see the totals in the 1 to 2 inch range for a lot of us. So Friday morning will be a bit snowy, but this is not a big storm coming our way. Just a few flurries tonight, down to 27, back to 33 tomorrow. Friday will be a snowy day for us with 1 to 2 inches of total accumulation. Cold for the weekend, moderating temperatures next week for Christmas. A full check at 4 a.m.
Getting back to some breaking news from Ann Arbor, the University of Michigan has put out an active emergency alert about an ongoing situation at the parking lot between the North Campus Research Complex and the Transportation Research Institute. That's on Plymouth Road near the east side of Huron Parkway. We're working to gather more information. Fox 2 does have a crew heading to the scene, and we will be sure to update you as soon as we learn more.
Well, a local waste site is wreaking havoc for neighbors, neighboring businesses in Sterling Heights.
Yes, one employee says the smell is so bad, it's like a smack in the face when you walk outside. Fox News' Lauren Edwards gets down to the bottom of the stench.
18 and Mound. Facility is not a dumping ground.
The smell is horrific, and it's pretty much every day.
For months, this is what one business in Sterling Heights saw at the Priority Waste site off Mountain Road. An employee, Billy, recorded it. He says it's a mound or a heap of waste, and the smell can be intense.
It's like your yard waste bin filled with grass sitting there for weeks on end on a hot day or hot months, and you sticking your face in it.
He says it's over the summer that he and his coworkers first noticed it.
You can't smell it inside the business, but as soon as the doors open, that's when all the smell comes in. Walk into your vehicles.
He says it's worse over the summer. That's when they began keeping track of it.
We kept logs of every time it smelled, turned them into the city, and I haven't seen anything done about it.
Fox 2 reached out to the city of Sterling Heights, and they say upon routine inspection, they noticed a pile of yard waste in question. So Wednesday, they sent Priority Waste a cease and desist letter and were told it'll be removed. Matt Allen with Priority Waste said over the phone that, quote, there's no illegal dumping going on. It's compost season and it ends this Friday. He says, quote, this is a part of our Sterling Heights maintenance and yard facilities. The composting that is staged there, it's cleared away every day. He added that there's a misting system that sprays a fragrance and it's mainly used in the summer. As for Billy, he hopes something is done soon so the smell goes away.
The state of Michigan needs to step in.
Again, Priority Waste says that compost season ends on Friday, and they say that Eagle was on site today surveying the smell and that they were found compliant. There was no odor. Reporting here in Sterling Heights, Lauren Edwards on The Edge.
The U-Haul through the back end of the building and left a huge hole.
This is not the holy night a Detroit business owner was looking for this holiday season. Overnight, some bad guys drove a U-Haul into the Jazz Cannabis Club on Telegraph near West McNichols. The owner, George Varico, has told us that he couldn't get insured because it's a marijuana business. In the end, the bad guys didn't get away with any loot, but repairs are going to cost a lot. We're told the 4 suspects wearing all black got away in a white 2016 Ford Explorer. Well, also tonight, giant nutcrackers are shining bright this holiday season for a special cause on Detroit's west side.
So yeah, local artists who are helping transform the Brightmoor Lights Holiday Festival into a winter wonderland drive-through experience for all families to enjoy this weekend. Where else can you find a nutcracker shaped like a penguin or a sugar plum fairy? How about an HBCU drum major or Michael Jackson?
This is one of our parks in District 1. It's in the Brightmoor area.
It's not quite showtime, but Brightmoor Park is ready for the spotlight. This weekend, the Brightmoor Lights Holiday Festival will include several over-the-top 12-foot-tall nutcrackers.
So I chose to do mine in duct tape. I hope it can withstand the weather.
Created by people of the community, including Carla Williamson.
It's just a labor of love, right? It's what I do for the city of Detroit anyway. And then I had an opportunity to partner with artists to just pour our love into art and be able to display it.
I'm supporting this community because I think Michael Williams has such a good vision for this community that I wanted to be a part of it. Even though it may be little small, I wanted to help show that everybody cares.
Karen Robinson's Nutcracker is pretty in pink, a nod to her sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated.
It's named Chili, and the reason why I chose chili is because it is chilly out here.
It's a beautiful thing for him to provide the platform for all of these artists to come together.
Every year, organizer Michael Williams lights up Darcy and Burgess streets for people to drive by. The Nutcrackers will be on display until January 3rd.
These are little model car wheels, and we got the duct tape.
While they're created by household items, the stories behind these artworks are close to the heart, like Christopher Gillum's. You said this was named after your brother.
Yeah, my brother passed. He drowned. He was only 28. And boy, he would love this.